Hi, I'm Sonia Kohlberg, and I'm here today with Mark Freed, who is the director of the Oklahoma chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. And we're talking about the stem cell announcement today. And President Obama recently ordered the lifting of some restrictions on federal funding for embryonic stem cell research. And this was met with a lot of excitement in some quarters and some subdued responses in others. And so I wanted to talk to Mark about this today. And how many people are living with Alzheimer's in Oklahoma?
Right now, a little more than 70,000 Oklahomans, and we project that by the year 2010, that number will increase to about 74,000. At the last census in the year 2000, there was about 62,000 Oklahomans with the disease. So it's roughly from 2000 to 2010 is roughly a 19% increase for the number of those who are living with Alzheimer's disease right here in our state. And when you, in any typical scenario, that multiplies very, very quickly because Alzheimer's is, there's so many aspects of it that include communication challenges, behavioral changes, and so the number of folks who are actually impacted by the disease multiplies very, very quickly. And in a typical scenario, you have a spouse, you have a couple of kids, maybe 5 grandkids, and 2 siblings who are involved in the overall care of the person with the disease. So 70,000 Oklahomans right now times 10 who are involved in the plan of care, and so immediately the number of those here in our state who are impacted by Alzheimer's disease multiplies up close to 7 figures very, very rapidly.
Wow, that's amazing. So how much help then do you think that this stem cell research, this announcement might be?
Well, the Alzheimer's Association is excited about President Obama's focus on science, and we hope that he'll use this momentum to continue to increase the amount of dollars that's invested into Alzheimer research to the National Institutes of Health and bring that up to appropriate levels. To put that into perspective, in 2005, the overall dollar amount that was being invested in Alzheimer's research by the National Institutes of Health was $650 million a year. Now, that's now $642 million a year. There's actually less being invested in the past budget year into Alzheimer research than there was a few years ago. As far as this particular issue goes, Alzheimer's is not a disease that's poised to benefit from stem cell research. Through what we've seen, this is not an area that is going to provide that kind of help that we need for this particular disease. We're aware that there are other diseases that stand to benefit from this announcement. And so this particular announcement doesn't affect us, yet we are very excited about the fact that President Obama is looking at the state of research and science as a whole and investing money, and we hope that we will be a beneficiary of that because we realize what's coming with this disease.
I see. Well, how far away do you think a cure or an effective treatment might be for Alzheimer's?
That's always the $64,000 question. The reality is that for a drug to go from discovery and all the way through the clinical trials and then through FDA approval and then to market, that takes quite a while. It's reasonable that right now there are 5 Alzheimer's drugs in phase 3 clinical trials, which is exciting. That's more Alzheimer drugs at this phase at any one time in our history. And so to know that we have some promising findings at this point tells us that there could be something that not only slows down the progression of the disease significantly, but there are a couple of them that are actually even stop the disease if they hold true and they prove themselves through the clinical trials. And to be able to stop the disease would be an important first step in this effort. Now, as far as how far away, right now there's, just to give everybody an idea, Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation and Dr. Tang has a drug going through, it's in phase 2 of clinical trials. And if it was to succeed and be successful and actually make it to market, it would actually be about a decade from now before that drug made it to the market. So it's an incredibly slow process. So we're hopeful that sometime over the next decade, we'll be able to go to market with a new pharmaceutical treatment. And when I say we, I talk about the Alzheimer's community as a whole. We're quite a ways away from being there. And I say that in terms of how we are in our country. We want to be able to click on our computer and open up something right away and find out new information. We get our emails, we get everything sent to our cell phones now. We want immediate information. And so the idea of maybe it could be 8, 10, 12 years before something is actually to market, that's a difficult thing for people to accept and really wrap their minds around. But nonetheless, this particular disease is fairly new in its understanding. The first case was back in about just over 100 years ago. That was the first diagnosed case, and we've learned so much more about it since then. And we believe that if this administration and Congress will funnel more dollars to Alzheimer's research, it will help build on the momentum that's taking place within the research community. About 80% of what we know about Alzheimer's disease has been discovered over the last 15 to 20 years. And so the more money that can be poured into it at this point, it can build on that momentum. We know what's coming with the disease. We know where we're going to be over the next 2 decades. And our society, our healthcare system is going to pay for Alzheimer's treatment anyway. What we're hoping to do is to invest that money on the front end to have better treatments so that the overall cost to the healthcare system would be reduced, because we have treatments that can help make it less of a progressive and epidemic type of a disease.
Okay, well, good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And continue to watch the Oklahoman and News OK as we cover this story. Thank you.